What's a word that you find difficult to pronounce? Theater. Here to be spelled theater essentially. And I pronounce it theater, but not with massive overpronunciation, or inflection, or any particular syllable given how much I've been made fun of for that. Carl. I swear, as much as I try it never sounds right. Edit, I forgot to say. I'm English, but when I say it in an American accent it sounds okay. But when I say it in my London accent it just doesn't work. Like it sounds more like car. And I physically can't put the L on the end of it. Ever since developing a southern accent, I lost the ability to say horror ... I found this out in HS by trying to sarcastically say to a girl the horror. My mouth does not like saying yesterday correctly. I was shamed in middle school for saying it like yesterday. But I've been letting myself say it like that again because whatever it's my dialect I guess it's close anyway. Not so much a word but a phrase. I try to say, I'll be the bigger person and say sorry. But instead I mispronounce it as eat a bag of dicks. Fuckface. Been a lifelong struggle. Peculiarly, I cannot, for the life of me, get my brain and my mouth to cooperate when attempting to pronounce this word. It is the only word in the English language that eludes me. Niche, as in, that hobby is really niche. Or, I haven't found my niche yet. My own pronunciation varies. Also, cacophony. Solely due to syllabic emphasis. American cities outside of my state. I know how to pronounce the international cities. They are named after, but the Americanized pronunciation is anyone's guess. Well, my daughter, when she was about 16, told me she watched this awful game show called Jeopardy. We haven't let her live that one down yet. She's now 25. Weary. For some reason I have a lot of issues with this word. My tongue gets lazy when I combine certain sounds, but this one I can't ever get right. Sorry. Daughter. Thought. Girls. Obviously. I'm Italian and I really sound like pizza. Pasta. Mondolino when I try to say one of these words. Elytra. It's the hard outer covering over an insect's wings. And for the life of me I can't figure out if the Y is an upper or lowercase I. Participation. I tend to say something like participation adding another few syllables. Why? It isn't that hard of a word, lol. When I read the word sword out loud I have to stop myself from pronouncing the W. I can say it just fine if I'm not reading it. Armor. I heard it a lot after the shooting on the Alec Baldwin set. Adding that to armor does awkward things to my mouth. I have an issue with saying arse. You could imagine that it is completely impossible for me to say squirrel. I say it like square. People say I overemphasize the in adult and theater. So it's adult instead of a lowercase sound and theater like theater. Llanfair Orgliglionlilili. It's a name of a town in Wales. Good luck trying to pronounce it. I've never been able to say peculiar right. It sounded like peculiar when I tried as a kid and I eventually just gave up. Purulent. Hippopotamus comes a close second only because singing that Christmas song helps me remember how to pronounce it. Worcestershire. To the USA. Anyway, I've heard a few funny pronunciations. Worcestershire. What's this here? Worcestershire. Hydrangeas and Worcestershire. Thank God for autocorrect because no one would have had any idea what I was talking about. Marijuana. Always cones out marijuana or something weird like marijuana. I decided to just say weed at some point. Statistics. I never managed to pronounce it with the C. So it ends up being statistics. I just shorten it to stats. Entrepreneur. I have to think about it first. If I learn the first syllable, I'm good to go, otherwise, forget it. It's hard to say. But I always have to think twice. Is it gazebo or zigabo, or apple orchard or apple orchard? I can't say humiliate properly if I'm talking too fast. I have to slow my speech down in order to get it right. You can tell why. Any word that has multiple RS, my tongue just freaking breaks. Especially if there's also W. Arnold Palmer, I don't even order them anymore for fear of being judged. Massachusetts. All R's in Spanish, and sometimes some weird ones because I'm overthinking it. The word everyone has accepted as shit and doesn't even try to pronounce properly. February. Edited. My mouth always wants to add an extra ed on the end so it comes out like edited. Massachusetts. I almost always say something that sounds like massive to tits. I'm not a native English speaker, and the other day I just couldn't say squirrel mouth. Breasts. I feel like I can never end the word in a satisfying way. Breasts is. This is dumb, but I really struggled with the name Megan and the word bagel. Botany. I don't know why I pronounce it like Boini. I'm American, I should add. Particularly. No idea why. I can say in particular just fine, so of course I do. Llanfair Orgliglionalidili. It's a town in Wales. Strategic is always strategic for me. I'd quite always have to correct myself. Wasps. I think we should change it to waspy, like we did with the octopus. I have to say it at least once a week and always screw it up. Parallelism. Tifong. Fortunately, I don't seem to have any necessity to ever say it. Anonymity and rural. It's a word you can't say without sounding drunk. Specific. My kids all have the same trouble. Also Rana Chafalaya. Rural. Worcestershire, Worcestershire, give up. Dilly naders. The orange safety cones. I can't even spell it. Obfuscate. I literally have to slow down my speech for this word. Pronunciation. Because in my mind it should be pronunciation. Thesaurus. Whenever I try to say it, it comes out as thesauruses. Particularly. It makes me feel like I have marbles in my mouth. Horror always comes out in my Eastern Appalachian as whore. Shock absorbers. Comes out shock absorbers every flippin' time. Root. 'Cause I'd how it's pronounced correctly. Do any of us, my wife and kids' names? They are like nails on a chalkboard. Linoleum and non-monogamous always trip me up for some reason. Worshikaya and pronouncing. Double stupicide. Designedly means menacing, ruthless. It's a Polish word. Less pronounce and more read. But macabre is a stupid one. 6th, I feel like that word just doesn't flow properly. For 20 years, the word wolf. I could only say with ... Particular, is that first or even there? I just don't know. Brewery. Especially after I have spent some time at one. Prekpukstead sensory anti-clockwise in Latvian. Fragrance. Rural. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Peculiar. I always have to slow down on Kulaya part.